Welcome back to our WordPress tutorial series put on by the UCF College of Sciences Web Department. Please note this tutorial covers WordPress 3.9 and versions that appear and function in a similar fashion. Check out the menu on the right where you can click to view the full video series playlist. You can also click to view previous and upcoming videos in the series as well. In this video we are going to cover pages, the default WordPress menu, and page attributes. If you want to jump ahead to any of those sections at any time, please feel free to use the links below. Alright, so let's begin. As you can see, we're still using our My Awesome Site WordPress installation here, and I have two tabs open, one with the front end of the website and one with the WordPress dashboard or the back end of the website. Let's go ahead and jump to the Pages section by clicking on Pages. This is going to default to the All Pages view. Here you can see a list of all the different pages I've created, excluding any pages that are currently in the trash. So right now this is going to show everything else, and those different types are going to be published, scheduled, draft, and pending. If I go ahead and click on one of these, it will narrow it down so I'm only viewing things of that type. And you can see there's a little number next to each one of these as well. So I've got one in the draft, one in the scheduled, one pending, and 3 published. If I go back to that all view, you can see that there's a lot of different ways you can easily add a new page from any place you're at. If you're on the front end of the website, I can come up to the WordPress admin bar, hover over new, and then click on page. If I'm back on the back end or the dashboard area, I can click Add New from the All Pages view. I can click Add New from the Pages drop down here, or from the admin bar I can go to New and do New Page as well. Below my filter types here, I have a spot for bulk actions. Similar to the Post section, you'll notice that every page listing here has a checkbox next to it where you can select one of those and then choose one of the bulk options. In this case, we have edit and move to trash. There's a trash can system, so you don't have to worry about accidentally permanently deleting anything from the pages section. The edit is going to be a pretty much a simplified version of the full editor. What this is going to let you do is change some basic things like the author, the parent, what template the pages might be using, if comments are turned on or off. Some of the basic status changes as well. If you wanted to do the full editing of that page, you have to do that on an individual basis, and you can get to that edit screen by either clicking on the title of the page or by hovering over this area and clicking on edit as well. Some other things to note about this page before we move on to the editor are you have your search field over here that'll let you search the titles of your pages, and it'll also let you search the content of your pages, which can be useful if maybe you're searching for something inside the page that the title of the page really doesn't have anything to do with. Above that we have some area specific buttons. So we have screen options and help. These are going to show things based on the area where we're at, which would be page related. So if I click on screen options, this will let me change what is shown on the screen here. So if I wanted, I can turn on or off the author, comments, or date columns by simply clicking on one of these. I can also adjust the number of pages displayed before the pagination shows up. So where I'd have to click and go to page 2 or page 3 to show more of the different pages I have here. By default that's 20, and with the size monitor I'm going, either on a laptop or a desktop, this is probably more than enough for me. If you're on a tablet or something smaller, you might want to consider changing that, but that's totally up to you. If I close my screen options and go to help, this will show me some page specific help things, and even more specific to the all pages view. So overview will just give me a quick overview, a little text description. If I click on managing pages, this will give me a little bit more information about that. I do have my links to the WordPress.org website where I can see some official documentation, or I can click on the support form. If you do have any options, I highly recommend going to the WordPress.org documentation the support forums, or most of the time you can just Google the word WordPress and then the description of the issue you're having. And the community is really nice and really big, and millions of people are using WordPress on a regular basis, so you should be able to find out and solve any issues you're having. So let's go ahead and edit a page. So if I click edit, the edit page is actually going to be very similar to the add new page. So let me toggle between these and I'll show you a couple of the differences real quick. Back to edit, back to add. So you're going to have the title up top, your permalink or your slug or your URL is going to be based on your title, and that's going to be automatically generated after you hit publish or save, or WordPress does its first auto save for you. So if I type into here and then click out, WordPress did an auto save draft for me and then just automatically created the permalink based on the title. Once again, that title is going to determine what the permalink is. So what the permalink is going to do is make everything lowercase, strip out any spaces and replace them with dashes, and strip out any special characters as well. And then besides that, the only other difference is you'll notice on the edit page, if you have it turned on, there's going to be a spot down here for revisions that'll let you see, all the different changes that have been made, who made them, what time they were, whether they were save changes or auto save as well. But besides that, that's pretty much the difference between edit and add new page. So let me go ahead and move this to the trash because I don't want to keep this kind of fake page we just messed around with. So let me close this out and go back to my edit page. Okay, so below the title and the permalink, we have the add media button and then the WordPress editor. We do have a separate video that I'll pop up a link for that'll take you to the full-fledged WordPress editor, to where you can find out all the different things you can do and all the different features that are associated with it, how to add media, pictures, alignment, links to files like adding PDFs or PowerPoint documents or different things like that into your WordPress pages. So by default, like I said, we have this add media button. We have the what you see is what you get, or the visual editor here, and that's designated by the visual tab. We do have a text tab that's going to be the code view. So if you ever come to this page, you see a bunch of code, you don't like code, it's the reason you're using WordPress, you might be a little freaked out, just go ahead and switch and click back on the visual tab, and that'll take you back to here. You do have some basic WordPress, Word document type or Office type buttons, so you can do alignments and bolds and italics and colors and indents and different things like that in the editor. Below that, you can have some extra things shown on the page. Revisions can be shown as well, as I just mentioned, was showing the different revisions made to the page. Over here on the right, we have our publish options. Above the publish options, though, we have our screen options again and our help again. Screen options, when you're editing a page or adding a page, is going to show you some different things that you can either show or hide on this page. If I didn't want revisions on here, I will get a list of revisions over in the publish options panel. I could turn off this one down here if I wanted, just by unchecking this box. There's a whole bunch of other boxes that you can mess around with. If you have comments turned on your site, you could turn those on. If you're not, you can take it off. You can also remove some of the other areas like page attributes or featured image if you wanted, just by checking or unchecking those boxes. You can also designate how many columns you're going to view while using this page. If you're on a smaller screen like a laptop or tablet or something, maybe you'd want to go down to 1. You can do that pretty easily just by selecting the number of columns. If I go to help, if I click on help, this is going to show me the help items related to editing a page. So just some information about pages, inserting media into pages, some really great auto embeds if you wanted to add a YouTube video or Spotify playlist or something like that. Some more information about the page attributes section, because that is unique to the pages area. And then we do have, once again, the documentation and support forum links on the right. So the page publish options, we have our preview changes if we're editing. We have our status. We can change that to published, meaning it's pushed live onto the website. Pending review or draft if we want to come back and finish this up if we have 90% of the content, or maybe pending review if we need this to be approved by another user that outranks us or something like that. We have our visibility. We have public by default. We have password protected and private. Once again, password protected is a one-time password only for that page. One time in the meaning that it's only good for this page, not any subsequent child pages or anything like that. Private meaning that it's pushed live, but technically only viewable to other users who have accounts on the website. You probably want to stay away from that just because if you're using this as a content management system, you probably won't have user accounts enabled. We have the revisions, which just shows us the different edits that have been made to this page at different dates and times. I can scroll back through this. Up at the top, we have this little scrub bar. So if I wanted to, okay, these are ones that were made 5 days ago. This was the original page. It was blank, and then I added this content. So what this does is we have the two columns here. We have one on the left in red and one on the right and with green content. The one on the left will be the older content, and the one on the right will be the newer. The only bad thing with this is that it shows you the code view by default, not necessarily the visual. The different colors correspond to a light red, meaning something in that area was changed, a dark red, meaning the exact thing that was changed, a light green, meaning the content that was changed, and more specifically, a darker green if there's something in particular. And if you do like something that you previously had, you can roll back to it and click restore this version. I'm not going to do that though, but I'm just going to return back to my editor. And then below that, we do have the publishing options if we want to change when this post was published, or if we want to schedule it to go live at a specific date and time, allowing you the luxury of setting this up all at once and then making it look like you got up in the wee hours of the morning, or you got on and edited the website on the weekend or something, when really you were just being resourceful and used the scheduler there. We also can move this to the trash at any time. I'm going to jump over page attributes real quick and talk about the default WordPress menu. So in your initial setup, you're using the default WordPress menu. What that's going to do is take any published pages. So for instance, this one that's marked pending and this one that's marked draft won't show up in the menu, but welcome, second page, and first video will show up. Second video, if I look over here on the right here, is marked as scheduled, so that's not going to show up. So if I refresh, we'll see that this is our current menu structure. And this is going to be built off of the ones that are published here, like I just said. And we can designate those by these top level ones, meaning that they don't have a parent. So if we go back to our page attributes, this is where we can designate where and how things show up in our menu. So the parent drop-down list here is going to correspond to the top level. So all these four right here are considered top level. They don't have any dashes next to them, and so they have no parent. So on this edit page, you see that this says no parent. If I wanted to make this a sub page, I could select its parent here, and that would make the page I'm currently editing a sub page of the parent that we just selected. And then the order, I'll skip template for a minute, come down to order. What order is going to do is designate the order that the page is going to appear not only on our all pages list, but also in our menu as well. So by default, when you create a new page or edit a page, you'll see that order is set to 0. And when their pages both equal 0, the order is 0, it's going to default to ordering them by their title. If you wanted to order them manually by a number independent of their title, you could do so by changing the order number here. The lower the number, the higher it shows up on the page. So for instance, 0 would be the top spot, and you go down to 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and etc., etc. So if we go back to my pages here, let me go ahead and just do quick edit and change this one to published, just so we can kind of see how this works. So when we look at the quick edit for first video, I see that this one's set to 0. If I do quick edit on this one, I see this one's set to 1. So let me go ahead and, just for the sake of this demonstration, set both of those to 0. If I refresh, nothing should change because once again, if refresh, once again, both of these are going to default. If both orders are set to 0, it's going to default to the title name, and first one is going to go first. Let me actually manually change this from scheduled to published. There we go. So now if I refresh, we'll see. Okay, there they go. We have first video and scheduled page. So both orders were set to 0, so it's going to default to the alphabetical titles. If I wanted to go back in here to scheduled page and make that show up first, I'll need to, since both of them are 0, I can't go any higher than 0, so I'll need to change the first video page and set its order to something lower than 0. So if I did 10, and now go back and refresh, we will find that scheduled is now higher up on the menu than first video. This is once again using the default built-in WordPress menu structure, which is based off of the page attributes area, the parent, and the order number. If you'd rather not worry about this and just you like an easier drag and drop interface, you can use the custom menu section that's handled by under appearance and menus. We have a video specifically for that, and that'll show you how to set that up and utilize that. A little bit easier to use system. You're still going to want to use the parent and order system though, just for the overall organizational purposes of your pages here. So we saw that when I changed the order on scheduled page to be higher than the first video page, that it shows up higher on the menu here. It also shows up higher on the all pages list here. So whatever I make changes to as far as the parent and the order in the page attributes area will correspond to the all pages area. So that's something just to consider when you make changes there. Okay, now finishing up the page attributes area will be the template list. So depending on the theme you're using, your theme is going to have different templates. Sometimes it'll just be the default one. So for instance, on ours, let me go to an example page here. This is our default. We have a spot on the left for the content, whatever it may be, if it's password protected or not. Then we have a widget sidebar on the right where we can put in some custom information there. And we have a spot on the left for some custom information. If I change, let me go to a different page real quick. So if I go to this and I change it from default to contributor page, now I go back and refresh this page once it's loaded, I'll see a completely different view. So this is using that contributor template. And we do have a third template for this 2014 theme, and that is full width. And judging by the title, if we're nice and kind of named these accordingly, this should be full width. And it is. So that sidebar content area, that sidebar widget disappeared now that it's full width. If I wanted to bring that back and go back to the default, I could do so. And once that saves, refresh, and then we have the template there. So templates are pretty easy. It just depends on the theme you're using. It's a different way for you to organize and view content. kind of built around the different templates that the theme creator had in mind when making that. We'll go back to our all pages view, see if there's anything else we need to talk about, but I believe that's it. So I hope that you found this video and a little bit helpful. Make sure you like this video and check out the other videos in this playlist for more information about using WordPress 3.9 or similarly looking or functioning WordPress versions.